What do you guys think about this? Was another one that came up the last couple of days. I had a pretty strong opinion about it. Did you guys see that the UFC signed Greg Hardy, the football player that with the history of domestic abuse?
Like,
do you know about this?
Really bad domestic violence.
Yeah,
bad.
He was. He's a former NFL player. He played for the Carolina Panthers when this happened. It was a girlfriend of his. He was convicted of assaulting her. And then he appealed it. She did not testify. I think basically dropped outside. They couldn't find her for the appeal, and then it was dropped on appeal. So the team wouldn't have him. The Dallas Cowboys eventually picked him up, had him for a year or two. He got some other drug problems, and then washed out of football, but wanted to compete in mixed martial arts. He had, I think, 3 or 4 amateur MMA fights, won them all by knockout. He's a heavyweight, he's a big guy. And last night made his debut on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, won his fight in 40 seconds or something, knocked out the other guy, and now he's signed to a UFC contract.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't have a very good opinion
I don't
of that.
either. I think that when it comes to stuff like that, there's 2 kinds of people in the world. There's the kind that do and the kind that don't.
Yeah.
That's my firm belief.
Yeah.
And when people talk about, like, second chances, hey, if you're the 18-year-old kid who's in the getaway car when the liquor store gets robbed and now you're 40 and you're in front of the parole board, that's one conversation. Yeah. But when we're talking about your wires being crossed, like something that's in you, that's a broken piece. This is my opinion, but that's a broken piece of you that doesn't get unwired. I mean, you seek to contain it, certainly, and you punish through the law and things like that. But I don't think that's like an awkward phase that someone goes through.
No, it's not. I had a spate with domestic violence before I moved out here to Vegas. That's actually why I moved to Vegas.
Okay.
I had my fiance at the time arrested on 1 count of attempted murder and 2 counts of assault.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact he's done that to women before me, and I know for a fact he's done it to women since me, and I have no doubt that he's going to continue doing that.
Yeah.
And he didn't get convicted. He got a 15-month suspended sentence, still allowed to leave the country. He lives in Texas now. He's from Australia. They didn't take his passport, nothing. I think he got a small fine. That was it. And they gave him his second chance, and I am a firm believer in that. Someone who is capable of going as far as he went with me, and I know he's been further with other women before I met him, he's not going to change. He can do all the convincing and all the lying in the world, and he can convince you that he's a really good person, but who he is at his core is someone who is capable and willing to do stuff like that. So I am very against him being signed. I'm very against Greg being signed because I don't believe that people like that change.
I think it's a mental disorder. I mean, I think it's something that you, and there's only certain things that fit into this category. I'm not somebody, I believe that the prison system and the legal system should primarily be there to rehabilitate, But I also think there are certain things that and unfortunately, a lot of times these things are seeded in people so early that by the time you really find out, a lot of times it's too late, But also the fact that one of 2 things happens. Either they are neutralized or, like you said, they push further and further and further. Because one thing about a sociopath, they give you plenty of they let you see them coming.
Yeah.
You can see them coming from a long way away. But I think the biggest mistake people make with those people is, well, it's been a little while since fill in the blank, whatever happened. And
he's had a stressful week at work. There's always an excuse.
Well, and there was also what was brought up about his, he had substance abuse problems, and
that's his problem.
Yeah, he chose to take those substances.
It's all
a conscious thought process
and deal with that. That's something that there's a lot of support for people like that. Of course, and the 2 don't definitely come in hand for sure.
Yeah.
He can get support and he can do that elsewhere. I think that the UFC signing him puts fans in an impossible situation because people like me refuse to support companies that support people like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now what do you do as a fan,
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, what you do is you sound off. I'm a firm believer in you vote with your dollars. And what you do is, and if you are a consumer of the offending product, if that's how you view it, it's even more important that you talk to them and you let them know. It doesn't have to be either or. Like, a lot of times people will go, oh, what are you going to do? Never watch. I mean, this is quick aside, but I went through this with the NFL a number of years ago because one of my dogs is one of the dogs that was rescued from Michael Vick's dogfighting ring. Okay. So I was very upset when they re-signed him. But you speak out about it, you put pressure on them, and you don't be quiet about it. Yeah. You keep talking about it, because here's the other part of it. I get your thoughts here. I don't get the fun in that. I don't get the fun in watching that, because I am drawn to combat sports. If I meet someone and I like them personally, then I like watching them more, because you are personally invested in them. Yeah. But if I met them and found them to be an asshole, I don't enjoy watching them. I always draw the analogy. If that person worked in an office with you, if you just had an office job, you would root for that person to get fired. You wouldn't hope that they would win Employee of the Month and then attend the party when they do, right?
Yeah, but it's like that in sports, you know. Yeah. Athletic ability seems to supersede any negative thing that you do in your life. Like, you see it time and time again. Fucking Kobe Bryant, you know. Yeah. Like, it happens so often, and it's fucking... It blows my mind that that's where our society is at, that like, oh, he did all these really terrible things, but he's an amazing athlete, so fuck it, let's just let him keep going and let him keep making his millions and let him keep being on TV. Yeah. Instead of, there's no punishment. What stops him from going and doing it to the next girlfriend? I promise you that wasn't the first girlfriend that he did that to. Yeah. You know, but he didn't get punished for that one either. He didn't get punished for the first ones. He didn't get punished for that one, and now he's going to be televised on one of the largest broadcasts in the world, you know, for one of the most popular sports in the world. Where the fuck is what's stopping him from doing it to every girl that comes in contact with him, you know?
And back to Jess's point for a second about the substance abuse thing. You know, I've never done drugs, but if I did them, that's not going to turn me into a woman beater. You know what I mean? That's not something that's something that is in you, that maybe you loosens your inhibitions or something. Yeah. But that's not something that, you know, that's like saying, you know, somebody only molests kids when they drink. I mean, you know, there's something inside that's causing that to happen. I don't get the appeal of what, like I was thinking, you know, you think about like great athletic, to your point, Jesse, you think about like great athletic achievements and things like that, people that you've watched do impressive athletic things. But if you found them to be of such low quality of a person that they fall into this type of category, do you really feel like you're missing that much by not being able to see them do what they do? I can't think of one single instance of anybody, and you don't even just tie it to athletes. I mean, musicians, actors, anything I've ever liked that I couldn't go, well, if I found out that they were just a garbage person, I don't think I would need their presence in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish more people were like that. Yeah.
I don't want to support people like that. Like, I have an aversion to them, for sure. Yeah. You know, like, there's beauty in a heel, you know, but they're a created caricature of being evil. Evil's not fun to celebrate. No.
You're right. No, that's a very appropriate line of demarcation, is evil. Yeah, because, you know, there are people, there's a vast divide between evil and obnoxious. Like, you can be obnoxious.
Like Colby Covington.
There you go.
It's an obnoxious heel. But he is not an evil person. Yeah. You know? Yeah. He plays a character.
And the audience can tell the difference, right? Like, so if the audience can, why would the UFC benefit from signing this bloke, you know? Yeah. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I think it's such a systematic problem that, like Jesse was saying, in professional sports, and this extends way outside the UFC, and I think one of the reasons that I maybe have a particular focus on it is because I don't like other sports. I follow combat sports. I don't enjoy other sports.
Lucky, because football has a lot of this in it. You know?
No, and that's been my long-standing point about, like, even everything you've just seen them go through with the whole national anthem business. No matter what your feelings about that, what blows my mind is that they've got, you know, at this point you've got hundreds of people who've been arrested on, you know, various forms of crimes, a couple of people that have actually been implicated and in some cases imprisoned on murder. You know, you got Ray Rice, who knocked his girlfriend unconscious in an elevator. But now we got him kneeling for the national anthem. Now we've gone too far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird that that is the line that somebody draws. Because, and maybe I'll pose this question to you guys. Do you think maybe the problem in the broader sense is that most people are just not, they're not, I guess I would say, like, civically conscientious about what they consume, like, you know, even the products that they consume. You know, am I wearing something that was made by child labor? You know, am I right down to, am I supporting an athlete who, you know, beat his woman unconscious or something like that? That maybe a lot of people just don't think in those terms ever. Like, any action that I take, big or small, what does this mean to the world around me?
People don't care, and especially in the age of social media, I think it's hard to really care about it, you know, because whether you react negatively or positive to something, now with social media and how quickly people have access to that, you get an immediate feedback. You know what I mean? So it's like drinking or taking drugs. Like, you say something, you get a reaction straight away, which is what I think people crave. So there's no need to look into anything further because you're getting that quick fix all the time. Like, I see it with people starting fights on Twitter about shit that they clearly don't care about at all. They're just doing it to get a rise and to get that little bit of attention. You know, I think with social media being so prominent, that people feel unimportant compared to the people that they're watching online. You know, so then, like, I think there's also a big fear of being the one who stands up for something and might get negative repercussions back because of how cruel people are online and how cruel they are immediately.